Hey Facebook, this is Jennifer, and today I wanted to get on for a few moments to address the question, how simple is it to live a simple life? That's right, today we are talking about the spiritual practice of simplicity. Now, I chose this practice because it demonstrates how our relationship and how our connection with the Creator and with ourselves affects how we choose to live out our lives in the world. And I am going to share 10 suggestions from Richard Foster's book, The Celebration of the Discipline, The Path to Spiritual Growth, so that you might have a starting point for your own personal practice of simplicity. But first, what is simplicity? Well, Merriam-Webster defines it as the state of being simple, uncomplicated, or uncompounded. And in his book, Richard Foster adds to that definition by saying that simplicity is freedom, duplicity is bondage. Simplicity brings joy and patience, joy and balance, while duplicity brings anxiety and fear. And he goes on to say that the practice or the spiritual discipline of simplicity is an inward reality that results in an outward lifestyle. So, in other words, our inward reality liberates us so that we are able to live out our lives in the world in a certain way. So, there are two parts: in inner reality and outward lifestyle, and both are needed. So first, the inner reality. The German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, to be simple is to fix one's eyes solely on the simple truth of God at a time when all concepts are being confused, distorted, and turned upside down. And what's interesting is that he said this during a time where there was a Nazi takeover in Germany. So during a very distorted and confused and turned upside down time, he said this quote. So basically, the statement tells us that the practice of simplicity, in the practice of simplicity, our inner reality is centered on the divine, or is centered on God. And in his book, Foster mentions um, that when our heart latches on to the ideas that what we have, we can receive as a gift from God, and that God has given us the ability and the wherewithal to care for those things, and that those things are to be made available to others when it is clearly right and good, then we are living in the inward reality of simplicity. Why? Because we become less attached to those things, to the stuff, to our abilities and our gifts and talents and the things that we have. We become less attached to it because we are focused on the one who created and allowed for all of those things. But Foster tells us the inner reality is not enough. There has to be a outward lifestyle in addition to the inner reality in order for the practice of simplicity to be a true practice. So Foster suggests 10 guiding principles for the outward expression of simplicity, and I'm going to give those that he lists today, again in his book. Now, these by no means are rules for governing our rules or governing laws, but they are only examples. Um, and your individual practice of simplicity may look different from somebody else's because, of course, everybody has different needs. So here they are. Number one, buy things for their usefulness rather than their status. Now, It's okay to buy things that you want sometimes, but you may find yourself asking you might start asking yourself, do I really need this? Or you may start asking yourself, am I buying it because it is useful, or is there another reason that I'm buying whatever it is that you're buying? Number two, reject anything that is producing an addiction in you. So Foster, in his book, he says that we have to learn to distinguish between a real need, be it psychological or physical or spiritual need, and an addiction. And he also says that it may not be possible for you to get free of that addiction, of course, on your own, but there is a possibility for you to decide to open up this particular corner of your life in order so that you can get the help that you need in order to be free. So number three, develop a habit of giving things away. Many of us do this when we do spring cleaning. Maybe you may decide to do it more often. Instead of once a year, you might want to do it maybe 4 times a year, quarterly. Or maybe you may know somebody that has a particular need and you have something that um, you're not using and you know they can use it. Perhaps you might um, um, help to meet the need of the other person. Number four, refuse to be propagandized by custodians of modern gadgetry. Now, I know this may be tough to some people because we have new gadgets and iPhones and iPads and other types of electronics and gizmos. They are coming out every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every month. They come out pretty often, it seems. And um, this is why we have to go back to number one and ask ourselves, are we buying things because it's useful, or are we buying things just because it's new? We really do have to ask ourselves that. Number five, learn to enjoy things without owning them. Go to your public parks. Perhaps you don't have a outdoor space um, or a backyard. Enjoy your public park. If your public library is open, and you enjoy reading, get your library card. Check out some books. Some libraries even have movies and other media available for you to take out. Take advantage of these resources that are in your community. You don't have to, they're there for you to use, and it might eliminate some of the things that you decide to buy or not to buy. So if you're just now joining us, I am giving 10 suggestions for outwardly expressing a life of simplicity, and I'm taking it from Richard Foster's book on Celebration of the Discipline. Hey, Justin, how are you? It's good to see you joining me. I appreciate you watching. And we are on number 6, which is to develop a deeper appreciation for creation. Go out, get in touch with nature, get more connected to nature. Getting connected to nature will definitely get you connected to the Creator. Number 7, look with a healthy skepticism at all buy now, pay later schemes. Now, this one can be unpacked a lot of variety of different ways. So we'll just kind of leave that statement right there for now. Number 8, use plain, honest speech. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Make honest speech and integrity. Make honesty and integrity the distinguishing characteristics of your speech. That's very important. Very important. And actually, that comes out of your inner being aligned with your divine center, or it comes out of your obedience to God. Number 9, reject anything that breeds the oppression of others. And last but certainly not least, number 10, which circles us back to focusing on the divine. Shun anything that distracts you from seeking first the kingdom of God. And I would also add, from seeking your divine purpose here on this earth. Jesus said it himself in Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things shall be added unto you. This is how simple it is to live a simple life. So I hope that you got something out of this short talk on the spiritual discipline of simplicity. Thank you again for joining me today. If you would like to hear about other practices that have helped me in my spiritual growth, or if you have integrated simplicity into your life, I would love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments, or send me an email at this email address. And again, thank you for tuning in. Please like this post, share it with your friends. Let's stay connected as we continue to reconnect with creation. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Until next time, peace and love.